Jeremy, you're getting kind of long there.
I call this meeting of Pittsburg City Commission to order. Will you join me in the flag salute?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'm going to open the meeting to public input. We have a couple items discussed tonight. Kevin Lloyd and Jeff Wilbert.
Mayor and Commissioners, I have with me Kevin Lloyd. I'm Jeff Wilbert, Downtown District Coordinator, to discuss the noise ordinance, which relates to the music that's being played at David Fish, the architect David Fish's business at 110 East 6th Street. I think we have West 6th Street, excuse me. I think we have some issues with the city, the ordinance, the sound ordinance that's been passed. It was passed on November 29th, 2013. Just to read a couple items in the ordinance, it says loud sounds and noises which are prolonged and unusual in their time, place, and use, and any noise which unreasonably annoys, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, or safety of others. This noise has been going on consistently 7 days a week for 2.5 years, which I think would...
The noise?
It's polka music being played at that location. So at our last downtown meeting, Kevin came to the meeting and wanted to have the opportunity to come and address the commission. He lives downtown. The noise obviously seems, in my opinion, to be loud enough that it travels up to Broadway and goes another half a block to Kevin's business, and he hears it every night, even when the bars are closed on Sunday and Monday. The music still plays. So he hears that 7 days a week, and he would like to address the commission.
City Commissioners and those in attendance, I want to express my gratitude for your time and concern in matters that deal with the progress of our city. My name again is Kevin Lloyd, and along with my wife Kathy, we're the owners of Piece of Cake Nutrition. We've been open for business at 512 North Broadway for 6 years this September. Tonight, I want to paint you a verbal picture of one aspect of downtown living. If you will indulge me, I promise to take no more than 4 minutes of your time. A little over 2 years ago, we decided not only to work downtown, but live there as well, and moved into the upstairs apartment next to our store located at 514 North Broadway. Right away, and over the course of the next 2 years leading up to this very night, I discovered a prevailing theme in the downtown district. This theme trumps every other on a nightly basis, 7 nights a week, 365 days a year. We moved here in the spring when the tulips began to pop their heads out of the flower beds in Europe Park and the songbirds began to come alive with their mating dances and rituals. Every evening, however, they're forced to swarm or to warm their nests to the accompaniment of relentlessly redundant polka music blasting out of a window a block away. In the summer, when the heat of the day is past and we wish to walk our chihuahuas in the cool of the evening starlight, when the blackbirds with the white stripes on their wings thrill us as they dive bomb our dogs, we're forced to do so to the tune of polka music blasting out of that window, even if we're 2 blocks away. In autumn, when Pitt State football is in the air and the crisp expectancy of not knowing what mood Old Man Winter is waking up in, when the leaves grow old and retire and fall to the ground, their dirge is the blasting of polka music coming from a window on 6th Street between Broadway and Pine. And on a cold winter night, when the falling snow slows and silences traffic, when typically it would be so still you could actually hear the snowflakes falling upon one another, the only sound heard is polka music blasting out of the open window of 110 West 6th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue that I want to address this evening. At this time of year, when it's too early to worry about the expense of central air and much more refreshing to open our front and back windows to allow the air to pass through, we must do so at the expense of our comfort and peace of mind. The blast of polka and circus music overtakes the ruckus bar goers of 505 and Bourbon Street right below us, and on Sunday and Monday when the bars are closed, totally destroys what would otherwise be peaceful and quiet evenings. Late in the week of a fortnight ago, the music was suddenly stopped. I was graced with accolades of acquaintances who thought my voice had silenced the music at long last. As it turns out, the man had only stopped his own in order to call the police on T.J. Leland. The music resumed the next evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly tell you that in the 2 years plus that we've lived downtown, I have never once heard so much as a peep out of the former Bobby G's, nor now the T.J. Lelands. What I have heard is what I've already expressed. Over 7.5 hours a night, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, of the same few songs being blasted on a 17-minute loop out of an open upstairs window of 110 West 6th Street. If not demand, I wish to formally strongly request that this music be stopped. Downtown residents cannot open their apartment windows. Residential homeowners up to 2 blocks away cannot enjoy a quiet evening on the porch or backyard swing. This music might be festive at a carnival where people might spend one evening per year, but it will drive away respectable downtown living, discourage development, and render the downtown an unattractive place to spend any length of time. This issue certainly falls under the findings of Ordinance Number G-1196, Section 54-131, Article 2. In the same ordinance number, it is blatantly apparent that this man is in direct violation of Section 54-135, Article 1. I can assure you, his actions are disturbing the peace, quiet, repose, and comfort of this person of reasonable sensibilities within the vicinity or hearing thereof. His violation of these codes is a slap in the face to this governing body and to the law enforcement and judicial system of Pittsburg, Kansas. It sends the message that one can violate the ordinances of the city on a nightly basis, 7 nights a week, 365 days a year, as long as one doesn't answer the door when the law comes calling. I contend that if he is guilty of violating this code more than 7.5 hours a night, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, then his guilt extends to the other hours in the day when the music is not being amplified out of the open windows. He has to come out of that building sometime. Find him and enforce the laws of this city. A week ago tonight, I approached the Downtown District Committee in a meeting and addressed this very topic. Whether it's connected or coincidence, I don't know. But in the last week, I've noticed that this person has tempered the volume of the music coming out of his open windows. If it is connected to the fact that this issue is now being brought out, I have no doubt that when the storm dies down, the volume will go back up. I urge you to move forward on resolving this matter anyway. Thank you for hearing my voice on this issue, and thank you in advance for the work you'll put into it. Have a great rest of your evening.
If there's anybody else that wants to speak on that issue, come forward. If not, we'll move to item B, Angela Meyer, President of Little Balkans Festival, and Jeff Wilbur, Downtown Director.
Looks like I'm going solo. Angela must have a conflict. Little Balkans this year would like to take the festival to a 2-day festival, which would include closing Broadway on Sunday. We wanted to bring that to commission and see if there would be any issues that they would have. Actually, what we're just looking at is closing Broadway from 4th Street to 8th Street. 4th Street South would be open. But the intent of that, the merchant or the vendors are always concerned about a one-day festival. They say it just isn't good for them to come to a one-day festival. They do much better when it's 2 days. So we would have the vendors in the 4th Street to 7th Street area. What it would cause is some type of overnight protection of the vendors. Obviously, they would stay set up on Broadway, I would assume, but don't know that they would take all of their merchandise, probably just leave their structure there and bring their merchandise back the next day for the Sunday event. That's basically, they're looking at quite a few changes for Little Balkans, just in where locations of things will take place. But the big thing is getting approval from the commission. We talked to Darren, the city manager. The big thing is getting permission from the commission to extend that and to close Broadway for that Sunday. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions. I don't know if you make a decision today or not, but we would just like you to consider that because we want to begin. Plans are starting pretty quickly. They've been going for quite a while, but we need to know if that's a possibility so we can go ahead and continue with the plans for the festival.
I don't know, we can't actually make a decision during public input, can we?
You can give Jeff your consensus if you'd like.
Before we do that, I do have a question. Does that closing Sunday affect any businesses?
There's no business, it would affect Harry's.
Harry's?
It would affect, it would affect Harry's, and it could affect him in a good way too.
Yeah.
There'll be more people downtown that may want to go in there and eat, but that would be, oh, Mayor, let me stop and think. I think that would be the only business that would be open on Sunday.
Yeah,
Well,
but
Jocksnitch,
he's part of
but
it.
he's, right,
Is Harry's aware of this plans or?
not at this point.
I would
They have
have
been
no
very
concern.
receptive to other things that we've done. For instance, when we had the Baja and all the cars were downtown, she actually was extremely busy, for that event. So it may be, and I would be more than happy, obviously, to go by and visit with her and let her know what the plans are.
Are they looking at something for an all-night security? Is that what you're suggesting there?
Well, I think there would need to be some type of security for, I would assume that some vendors could sleep with could decide to camp out there, but I would assume that some would probably be packing their stuff up, so their structure would need to be protected. The bars obviously would still be open on Saturday night, so, there would be people downtown for that.
Tim, would that be a problem having off-duty personnel work or something down there?
I'm sorry.
Would that be a problem bringing in security
I think
for
at
the
this point,
area?
what Jeff needs to hear from
Yeah, I
us is
think
on
I'm
the
for it.
Sunday, you're just asking right now,
Yeah.
consensus-wise, if it would be okay to close Broadway on Sunday.
Correct.
That's right, that's the
Yeah.
really big change? Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
okay.
the that's the
Then
only
that-
change.
I would have no concerns with that.
Yeah, we could have officers available, sure.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either, Jeff.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Need to have a motion, take action on this? This is our consensus. I agree. I think it's great.
Thank you. And I'll bring more information about the changes that are going to take place if you'd like to know that in the future, so.
And thanks for all the volunteers who work on Little Balkans. That's-
Oh.
we
Do have
appreciate
a
all of them.
question. Will there be polka music at this festival?
Actually, one of the changes, and I'll tell you what I know right now, because we actually have a meeting next Monday to decide some of this. The polka music will be the music for Sunday. The idea is to have Sunday polka music. The band that was there last year that was very successful has already been hired. They will be back to play on Saturday. We don't want to have competition between the two bands. So we want people to come down and hear the 80s band, and then hopefully have the polka band on Sunday with some other changes that we're hoping to take place. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mayor, is it okay if we take a second and, I appreciate Mr. Lloyd's comments and make a couple of comments so he has some idea of just in general where we are. Number one, I appreciate your time coming today. We've obviously heard about this. I talked to the police chief who couldn't be here today and made sure that Tim was up to speed. We do have a process for dealing with this. I believe it involves basically signing a complaint. And if with that, I'll turn it over to Tim, and let's at least get you up to speed on something, so we're not leaving you hanging. Can you recap, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, we've been dealing with this issue for quite some time over the years. Basically, because of the downtown overlay district and how it's developed, the noise ordinance that applies, there's basically three methods for addressing a complaint. The first is obviously a violation of the decibel reading if it's over that decibel level, depending on the time of day. And what I can tell you, we have not received a complaint, a call-in complaint. November of 2014, mid-November was the last complaint we received until May of this year. We've received 2 complaints, responded, found a violation twice, and issued a citation on one. The other is in the court now. Then there's been a third violation. An officer just driving through the area thought the music was too loud, took a decibel reading, and found that violation. And so we have 3 cases pending in municipal court right now. The second avenue is, and this one becomes really important, if it impacts the quality of life. And this is what you would speak to the residents down there. As an officer, I can't testify to the impact of quality of life. I can't, because I don't live there. But certainly individuals such as yourself, you're welcome to call the police department, file a complaint, and then come in. And that's truly, in visiting with the prosecutor, that's what we need to get into the court, is the folks who live downtown who have to put up with this day after day after day. If it's not a violation of the decibel reading, that's what I testify to. The quality of life impact, that's what we need the citizens to come. We'd be glad to work in partnership and try to address this. But again, part of the volume going down as it may be, we've got 3 cases pending just in the last 3 weeks that start from May 12th. Okay. The third, I'm sorry, I apologize, the third instance is if we get multiple complaints, then as an officer, we can address that as well. But truly the biggest impact is to get folks who live down there so they can tell, this is what my life is like, and absolutely what you just described, that's what the judge needs to hear, that's what the prosecutor needs to bring before the court.
Is that clear enough for Mr. Lloyd? I mean, those are the tools at our disposal, and
Yeah. Ted, if you want, I'll visit with you here just quick to kind of catch up on that. Okay. Commissioners, anything else I can answer for you, or Mayor? Nope. Okay, thank you.
good luck.
Are there any more public input would like to speak tonight? Seeing none, I close the public input of the meeting and moving to consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed for discussion? Is there a motion
I'd move to approve.
to approve?
Second.
Roll call.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ketterman.
Aye.
Munsell. Murnane.
Consider the following. Request to rezone. The Planning and Zoning Commission in its meeting of May 18, 2015 voted unanimously to approve the request submitted by Jennifer Carr on behalf of CINAP, Inc. to rezone 400 East Centennial from IP1 Plan Light Industrial to CP2 Plan General Commercial to allow for the future construction of possible commercial development. Bill.
Mayor, Commissioners, this came up at the May Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, so it's just now getting to you. This was request to rezone property there at the corner. It'd be the south or northeast corner of Centennial and Rouse. Currently, it's zoned industrial, and that's probably a holdover because that whole area at one time was zoned industrial when we created the industrial park there on that corner. But the other properties surrounding that, where the strip mall or the strip center where Chatters is at, was rezoned, and then the doctor's clinic was rezoned. We've got a map here, but I don't know if it'll come up or not. But anyhow, that's the last spot. They would like to use this for a medical office facility. They're in the site planning stage right now. What they want to do is get this zone commercial to match the area surrounding it. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this property and the use and the proposed use, and it met all the golden requirements, and so they recommended unanimously that it be rezoned to match the other areas. So, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have in regards to that.
Anybody have any questions for Bill?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item B, disposition of bids. Pittsco Sunflower Trail staff is recommending the bid for the construction of Pittsco Sunflower Trail to be awarded to Heck and Wicker of Parsons, Kansas, based on the low bid, meeting specifications of $155,119. Bill.
We are very pleased. We had 9 bidders, which was fantastic. We had good bids. We had 2 that were below the engineering estimate. Actually, we had a slight error with Heck and Wicker. They had made a multiplication error, but according to our bid specifications, that it goes back to the unit price, so we corrected that. It made them the low bidder in this project. We did notify both bidders, both Heck and Wicker and B&B Bridge. They understand. We're recommending that we award it to Heckenwecker, we have been communication. They're ready to start as soon as they get a contract. This is a trail that will run from Adams Street to the KCS track. It'll be a 6-foot wide sidewalk. We've already obtained all the easements necessary for that project. It's funded partly from the Sunflower Foundation, but mostly from Harvey Dean, who is the, of course, the CEO for Pittsco. We named this trail the Pittsco Sunflower Trail for titling purposes. So again, we're ready to proceed. We just need a concurrence from you to award the contract to Heckenwecker.
Any question for Bill? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll approve.
Second?
Second.
And motion to approve and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I'd like to say thank you to the deans. Their generosity to this community continues.
You know, if we could take a second, that's a really good point. Harvey just came to us sometime last year, and it was as simple as saying, I think there's a safety issue over here. There's no sidewalk on either side of this street. And obviously, he's the kind of guy that, you know, has a means to do something about it. But it was a simple conversation, and I can't give any credit to anybody else. He just literally approached us and said, this whole area needs to be improved, and I want to do something about it. So I think it's very important that we say thanks to Harvey and for having the vision and the wherewithal to come to the city and just say, well, let's make this a safer area. And it's going to be a great project.
Thank you. Ordinance number S 1022. Consider ordinance number S 1022 granting to Zayo Group LLC its successors and assigns a distribution antenna system facility and telecommunications franchise and it's prescribing the terms of said grant and relating thereto. Jay.
Mayor and Commissioners, this particular ordinance is the first of 4 telecommunications franchises that I'll be presenting to you. We've had a great deal of activity and interest in the Pittsburgh market in the telecommunications world. This particular ordinance is for Zayo, the Zayo Group, which in Pittsburgh intends to build small cell towers. I'd like to have a couple people from Zayo here today to talk a little bit about it and answer some questions for you, if you have any. Brenda and Tommy from Zayo. So, and I thought it'd be best if they explained what the small cell towers are going to do.
I will tell you about Zayo Group in case you do not know of us. It is a company, we are a global provider of what? Well, of bandwidth infrastructures. And that's what we want to do for you. We have 84,000 route miles of fiber assets to offer, not just here, but then also over in Europe. We started in 2007 at the corporate offices in Boulder, Colorado, but they have 2 European headquarters in London and Paris. Now this means for Pittsburgh, Kansas, enormous bandwidth in connectivity, which means you guys, when you're streaming, it's going to be a whole lot faster if you are on ours, small cell antennas. If you are searching, Pittsburgh students, they are going to love having this because with everything that they are on computer-wise, have 4 or 5 different windows open, it's going to stream very fast. That is what we do. We have the fiber and we have the small cell, and this makes faster and faster, whether it's entertaining, researching, learning, all of that is faster.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add to that. Just if you have particular questions about the small cells themselves or the fiber build itself, I'm kind of the construction manager, and so I can answer those kind of questions.
I have a question of the towers. How many towers are you planning on, and how high is the height of them, or?
There's 9 or 8?
8. There's 8.
Go ahead.
34 feet above ground level will be the actual pole, and the antenna will be 3 feet above that, so it's 37 feet. It's basically the size of your utility poles. that carry the electricity.
8 towers.
I think my question is for Jay, I think. And Jay, I'm going to just blatantly show my ignorance here. I know enough about this concept to be dangerous. I know municipalities everywhere in the United States are having this conversation. What is it as a municipality technically we're granting or assigning these nice folks?
Technically, we're assigning them, they have a franchise right to do business here in Pittsburgh, right, and to generate revenue in the Pittsburgh jurisdiction, all right. They are going to erect towers that will that will allow cell phone users to have much better, faster bandwidth and better reception.
But they're generating revenue from who?
They are represented, can we tell them who they represent?
Or, I'm sorry, if that's not an appropriate question.
They are doing this work for Verizon.
Okay, so you're working for bigger companies. You're basically making, like in the old phone days, you got the line from Wichita to Pittsburgh. Now you're, filling in around in between.
Right.
What I tell people, we're boosting up these tall towers that you see
Yes.
for miles away. We are the boosters. As cell phones have become more popular, the way that the towers, they're out here, but then it's just like going into the football stadium, all right? One person goes in, they can have all the cell phone strength they want. Then as it fills up, or at any entertainment venue, the more people you have, then the less strength you have. We are the boosters to make.
So instead of Verizon putting more big towers, they have decided their business model, and any cell phone company or whoever, they've decided their business model is to work with folks like you to go in and make these boosters.
Yes.
But in order for you to do that kind of business, because it's considered a utility,
Yes.
then we as a commission have to say, just like Westar or whoever, you can do this kind of business here.
It gives them access to the right-of-way and various other things that a franchise within our jurisdiction would have access to.
Okay. And when you first started, Jay, you said this is the first of 4?
Yes.
How, contextually, how does this fit in?
They're providing a specific service for a cell phone provider for
Yes.
Verizon. So, when you're at the games and you can't,
Yes,
your phone
right.
is useless. When they erect these, you will be able to use your Verizon cell phone during the game. And the other providers provide slightly different services, and they're not representing these won't be cell phone towers that are coming up. They'll be providing different services. Right.
The
Different
next 3
telecommunications
things you're
services.
bringing to us.
That's correct. There's a long haul
And does
provider.
this service they're providing, does this help us with our overall big picture of shoring up our city's technology infrastructure?
It has no direct relevance to the city, other than the fact that the city uses Verizon as its carrier, all right? So it does. So in that sense, it does. In that sense, it helps. And these are localized. They're putting the towers where there's a lot of people, North Broadway, around the campus, all right? And so in those areas, it'll certainly help the city's reception because we use Verizon cell phones.
And have other people asked to have a franchise here? Other groups?
No other small cell provider has, just Zayo.
And do we anticipate them doing that?
There's definitely a chance, but Zayo now is here first, so they would have to compete with Zayo.
So other cell phone companies won't have an antenna on your tower? It's only for Verizon?
Correct.
And you have the locations already acquired, that these towers?
Well, we have an idea of the locations, and those are up to city approval.
We've already walked the sites where they're going to be.
What are they gonna look like, the towers? Are they monopole or?
Yeah, just one pole.
I'm sorry, I have another question. When again, enough to be dangerous, when I sat in on something at the Kansas League of Municipality, they talked a lot about ensuring that as a city, even though these are fine folks, are we locking ourselves into a deal that in, 2 years, I've read this, but, you can probably explain it to me much faster.
Technology is changing very quickly right now, and we're changing the terms of all of our franchise agreements to 2-year terms with annual automatic renewals. all right?
Oh, okay.
Unless it's renegotiated. It's given the nature of technology nowadays that a lot of the franchise agreements are moving in that direction. We don't have any question really that Zayo is going to be able to provide a much-needed improvement in our cell phone capacity for an indefinite period of time, and we certainly anticipate they'll be here for a while, much past the 2-year time frame. But we are reserving the right to revisit it after that 2-year period.
And I think that's what I heard was many cities early on went into 10-year agreements or 7-year agreements.
20-year agreements in some cases, 20-year in some cases.
Yes, and then they were regretting it. So figured you had it taken care of, just needed to ask.
And Monica, I would also point out that if you look at the paragraph 1.4.1, that's a unique provision as well that Jay was able to get put in place to possibly add, while Zayo is in the public right-of-way, adding some fiber for the city at the same time that they are putting in their own fiber.
Okay.
We would still have to pay the direct cost of that, but it would be much cheaper than us contracting on our own.
While the hole is being dug or whatever you're doing.
The tubes are being put in the ground, but
Yeah.
that's how that works. So I was able to work out a deal with them that they would allow us to do that while they're doing it. It would help us. We're creating a fiber ring that the city owns around the city, and this helps us do that.
Thanks for answering all those questions.
So this costs the city nothing.
No, this particular franchise agreement is, they're building this for Verizon at Verizon's expense. Right. It will cost the city, the only cost of the city would be if we choose to add
Right.
cable at that point.
Right. And it would be cheaper for us.
It's considerably cheaper to do it as part of an existing boring than if we were to do it on our own.
Any other questions?
I move to approve.
Second.
Then a motion to approve in a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion
Good job.
carries. Thank you.
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Ordinance number S-1023. Consider ordinance number S-1023 levying an additional retail sales tax, city's retail sales tax in the amount of 0.25% with the city of Pittsburgh, effective April 1st, 2016, pursuant to the powers of the cities granted by paragraph B of section 5 of Article 12 of the Constitution of the State of Kansas and the provisions and procedural requirements of KSA 1237 as amended.
Mayor, city commissioners, we currently have a street sales tax in this same amount that we approved for 5 years. It expires in March of 2016. As you know, that's not only does the lion's share, but actually does all of the street resurfacing that we do and repair work throughout the city. It's a critical part of our program. We brought this to your attention at the working day in May that this was going to expire and wanted to get your thoughts. You directed us to have a public hearing, which we did at the last meeting. And at the end of the public hearing process, we asked you what your preference was, and you asked us to prepare an ordinance, which is what you have in front of you. It's for the exact same terms as the initial sales tax was, the same amount for 5 years. And we prepared it in accordance with, I hope, everything you were looking at. And so we put it to you today for your consideration. And we'll be happy to answer any questions about it.
I don't have a question, I just want to make sure that it's clear out there. This is not actually an additional tax, it's just a continuance of the one that we have now.
Absolutely.
Are there any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I would love to make that motion.
Go ahead,
To
I'll
approve.
second it.
Thank
There's been a motion to approve and a second. All in favor say aye.
you. Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any non-agenda reports and requests tonight?
You know, we do have one. Jamie, our finance director, is going to talk to you a little bit.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I just want to talk to you about a little change we're going to have on our water billing. The Kansas Water Office has recommended that the billings to customers be shown in gallons. The city has always used cubic feet, to my knowledge, since the beginning of time. So all our meters are in cubic feet, and they register in cubic feet, so that's how we bill in cubic feet. But gallons are, you can compute mathematically from cubic feet to gallons by, there's 7.48 gallons per cubic foot, and you can calculate that out. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know we were
Is that
going
per foot or per 100?
per 100 feet, I'm sorry. Where it says usage there on the bill, this is a sample bill. This is 269 cubic feet. In gallons, that's 2,012 gallons. We're just making a change on our bill to reflect that, and so we can be in compliance with the Kansas Water Office. And this will probably take effect sometime starting with our July billings.
Will it have both of those on there?
Yeah,
cubic feet and gallons?
yeah. Because we need to keep the cubic feet on there in case we get customers calling in with questions about their bills, so we can, tie it back to the readings on the meters and everything. But so I just wanted to keep you guys informed about we's making that little change.
How many meters do we have in the city, Jamie?
Chuck, I'm going to say, Romero, we've got around 85 to 8,600.
Are they, as we replace them, will we be buying meters that register gallons or the same ones we have?
We got to go one way or the other. You can't go both ways with your software, and our software is currently set up with our metering system, which is in cubic feet. The software can entertain both ways, but you can't have part of your meters one way and part of your meters the other way. That's got to be all or nothing, or all or one way or the other on them.
So we're just changing the billing?
Yeah, we're just
to
putting
be
that
compliant
little extra little thing on our billing to.
Because KDHE is.
Well, it's the Kansas Water Office, actually.
Water office?
Yeah.
No change to the rates.
No, yeah.
No change to the price of water.
No.
It just didn't want people to be confused when they look at their bill and think, what in the world is the city?
We just want to
doing
let you guys know that was going to be coming out.
Going to the
so.
decimal system. it feels like.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thanks, Jamie.
Jamie?
That's all I've got, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I don't know whether he's still here or not, but want to take this opportunity to congratulate Andrew on his new position that he's going to be taking, and tell him he will be missed, but wish him the best of luck.
Yes, thanks, Andrew, for everything.
Thank you very much.
I have one quick question.
Go ahead.
Could you please help me understand, and I haven't followed the news feed in the last few hours, the current discussion in Topeka as proposed by Senator LaTurner regarding the tax lid for municipalities? Can you just really quickly summarize what impact that could potentially have on us as a municipality?
Well, the senator's amendment to the current tax bill basically says that we would be required, if we increase the property tax in a given year by more than the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index for the urban areas, that we would have to have a vote of the people to approve such an increase. And I don't know what else there is to say about
And that's
it.
currently open. Are there any other items in Topeka right now that we should be concerned about as a municipality as it relates to specific income or revenue streams, other than the fact that we don't have a budget
I
as a
would,
state?
anytime there's a $400 million shortfall on a budget, they've already approved the expenditure budget, so they're looking for the money. We have a lot of property tax, motor vehicle tax. We have a lot of money that's up there at the state level that in the past has been swept before when they can't come up with the cuts to expenses or new revenue. So I think until they're done, I know we're keeping an eye on everything up there because there's a lot at risk. I don't think there's anything that's critical to our operations, but I think it's a very interesting time for cities as we watch them wade through hopefully what is the last few days of this legislative session. Is that fair?
Yeah, thank you for that update.
Just to follow up on that, John, what, if that does go through, what year are we talking about that we might have to think about that vote?
The latest amendment that I believe is 2018, and Jamie, please correct me if you're not, but I believe it'd be 2018, so it'd be a budget year clear from where we are right now.
Any other?
But they did pass that budget, that make sure that they're going to increase the state's portion of the sales tax.
That's the package that's been passed out of the Senate, which has the
It's in the House
amendment.
now.
It has the amendment which is called a property tax lid, or a tax lid. That's currently at the House, and apparently at 6 o'clock, they're going to get back together and consider it. So that's all in the same package.
Any other items? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned.
I only blew my nose twice.